Hello, how you doing? We are doing another CinemaWins reaction, but a unique one. So, yep, this has been requested by Matidio Loran, who does seem like honestly my biggest CinemaWins reaction supporter, honestly. So, I mean, thank you for that if you're watching. And yep, he requested to do the Harry Potter movies. So, here's the complicated thing about that, though, is that Lee actually unlisted the videos because what J.K. Rowling has said, which I don't blame him for doing that. So I originally was like, I don't think so, but then I found a playlist that had CinemaSins and CinemaWins' Harry Potter videos, like all of them. So found that and I was like, you know what, I could just do that. But I'm still like, I don't know if I want to put them publicly because I feel like I don't want to like disrespect Lee since he doesn't want those public. But I found a solution. You know what? I'll just unlist them as well, where you can only find these videos in this playlist to respect his wishes. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully you'll be okay with this, but I just want to do it to be safe. If So anyway, yeah, Harry Potter. So full disclosure, unlike something like Star Wars or Marvel, where I have a lot to say and I love this world and stuff, Harry Potter, I used to be a huge fan. I'll say that. I remember reading the books a few years ago, and then watching the movies and really liking them and all. Though, and this is around the time the first Fantastic Beasts movie came out, so I was a big Harry Potter fan then. Though, as time has gone by, I became less and less interested. Now it's like I'll watch the movies again from time to time, but I haven't read the books in a long time, so I remember a handful of changes, like a few, but not. But I'm not like as knowledgeable about it as I am with say Hunger Games, where I know a lot of it now because Hunger Games is more recent. The way I've been obsessed with that, but yeah. So don't. Well, I do still have some in-depth stuff to say about Potter, I think, and we'll see as we watch through Lee's videos. But yep, we have already a bit of a long intro, but we have 8 movies to go through, so I won't be able to do Fantastic Beasts because I legitimately cannot find that video on YouTube. So, yeah, but I don't really care. Again, too long of an intro. Let's just get this over with. Okay. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Good call. Like potential spoilers for the rest of the HP films as well. Yeah. I guess it's something right off the bat. The fact that he called it by the British title Philosopher's Stone instead of the American title Sorcerer's Stone. That's fair, because Philosopher's Stone does sound less generic than Sorcerer's. I mean, I've been calling it Sorcerer's just because I'm American, and that's what we call it here. But I understand if you're a stickler for philosophers, then sure. Anyway, we're diving into first win.
Maybe it's not fair, maybe it's just so burned into my brain at this point that I can't be objective about it. But when has the channel really ever been about being 100% objective all the time?
I mean, yeah.
The main Harry Potter theme, called Hedwig's theme, I guess.
Yeah.
And one of the most original and recognizable cues up there was Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee 90% of you can hum all 4 of those themes right now. Do it. Hum them.
All right. Harry Potter. Well, Harry Potter is a bit easy because I can literally hear the music while he's talking. But bum bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum bum bum bum. Yep. Star Wars. I mean, obviously. Bum bum ba-da-da bum bum ba-da-da bum bum ba-da-da bum. Lord of the Rings. Well, I don't know if there's a main theme for Lord of the Rings. I mean, how about the Hobbit theme? Just the was that too fast? I'm sorry. And then Indiana Jones. Yep. And all of those are John Williams except Lord of the Rings. That's cool.
And then try to do the original Superman theme after Star Wars. Bet you can't.
The challenge accepted. I no, I can't. All right. Good start.
Longest opening win ever.
Literally.
And all the book fans took a long sigh. Phew, so far so good. They got the Dursley Street name right. Nothing like creepily
I'd be worried if they didn't.
emerging from the woods to establish your wizardry. Wizardness? Wizardtion?
No, I think you got it for the first time right. Wizardry. I can't talk. Got it right the first time.
A little inside track for the viewers later on. All right, everybody, hold on to your hats. There is magic, and there are magical devices in this universe.
Yep.
I call this one the reverse lightsaber. The Illuminator? Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Turning into a tabby cat is cool, but this shadow alludes to her ability to turn into a mountain lion-sized cat. So, yeah.
Cool.
Came back to this movie recently and kept waiting for the Dowager Countess to throw shade on Dumbledore for his unkempt beard and improper attire. All right, there's flying motorcycles. It's magic, everyone. We can... there's the Dowager.
Who's the Dowager? I don't get that. Man, all three of these actors in this scene are dead, man. That just makes me sad thinking about it. Richard Harris, Robbie Coltrane, and recently Maggie Smith died. That's sad watching this again.
Oh, and also a pair of beautiful beard wins.
Yeah.
It's a score that not only captures the wonder and excitement of the magical world, but also has an eerie, ominous tone being in a minor key. John Williams never stops proving why everyone knows his name.
Nope.
Cook the breakfast and try not to burn anything.
Bring my coffee, boy.
Hard to watch for sure. The disdain they have for the poor orphan can make your blood boil, but the payoff for Harry's true importance is so worth it. Also, I can sort of understand where these awful, terrible guardians are coming from. They know magic exists, and they're trying to keep Harry from finding out, since magic is what led to Harry's parents' deaths in the first place.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, of course, it doesn't excuse the abusive way they treat Harry, but you do somewhat get it. Well, I get it at least.
So much happening in such a simple scene. 7 minutes into the first film, Rowling establishes that Harry has a connection with Voldemort because of Parseltongue. His commiseration with the snake about being bred in captivity is solid character development. His first accidental spell is to set an animal free, and a smidge of comeuppance for Dudley. Oh, and he's talking to a snake, which is awesome.
Yep.
These owls
That
must have
happened.
bullseyed womp rats in their T-16s back home. I love that Harry doesn't really question what's happening or have any real emotional outburst. It's another really depressing side of the story that he wouldn't even begin to consider that he might be special. It's been so ingrained in him that he's a lower class, subhuman even.
That's sad.
Thank you.
I don't know if it's Columbus's direction, Rowling's writing, or Radcliffe's delivery, but just that simple
Thank you.
captures so much of what we love about Harry, as if he's never been given anything in his life. It actually chokes me up a bit. Is there some irony in an umbrella starting a fire? I feel like yes. Most everything about Harry's mistreatment is in your face, but there's even more visual winks you may not have noticed. From the iconic tape on his glasses to the clearly hand-me-down pants and shirts that don't fit him.
Oh,
No one
yeah.
was buying this kid new clothes or glasses.
And then she had you when I knew you would be the same, just as strange, just as...
With that attitude, it's a surprise Marnie hasn't channeled Voldemort to finish Harry off. Okay, that's pretty obscure.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
Remember the medium in True Blood that gets possessed by Antonia, and then I think something with a rocket launcher? Anyway, that's her.
I mean, now I just know her as, well, I mean, I first saw her in this, but now I think I want to recognize her most as Marva Andor from Andor, so that's cool.
Pay to have some crackpot old food.
Never insult.
Albus Dumbledore.
Standing up for your friends.
Not the pigtail.
Punishment fits the crime. Love it. The
Yeah,
sign-
because he eats like a like a pig. No one ever said these movies are subtle.
and slowly goes from black to showing what it actually is, the leaky cauldron, the gateway to Diagon Alley.
Harry Potter.
Reverence. I know this is different from the book since Voldemort doesn't latch onto Quirrell until after his failed Gringotts heist, but in this universe it sets him up right away with his refusal to touch Harry.
Kind of cool detail, but also like, why was he surprised when Harry touched him in the end and you saw him like disintegrating? Why was he like surprised if he knows not to touch Harry? I don't know, it's weird. I mean,
This CGI is aged just fine. This movie
It
is
looks
one more
okay.
exciting magical introduction after another. This may be a lack of book knowledge on my part, but I love that the wizarding world is somewhat behind the Muggle world, as if magic sort of negated the need for a lot of technological advancement, and the technology that does exist is just different, like an alternate universe.
I mean, yeah, they still use quills, and even though we have pens and pencils, like that's how you know they're behind.
One issue I've heard come up before is now that Harry is rich, why does he need to stay with the Dursleys after this? Who says Magic World Gold works in Muggleland?
That's
And our
fair.
MacGuffin for this film is born. After all,
Like I remember I remember reading how the Wizarding World like payment and how the money works. Like, oh, this equals this much and this equals this much. And I remember being super lost reading that. Wait, what? Because it's not like, oh, $5, $10, $20. It's like very specific numbers. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it was, I don't know, I found it really confusing.
Said and done, it feels a little extreme.
Yeah, the MacGuffin, yep, that's the Sorcerer's Stone, or Philosopher's Stone, if there's any Britons watching this.
But it's the catalyst for most of the plot progression and world and friendship building once we get to Hogwarts. My instinct was to make a 1984 joke, but you know what? John Hurt is always a win.
Oh, yeah.
He's been chest-bursted, Control, Doctor Who, Big Brothered, been Big Brothered, Elephant Man, and he's been making wands for a long, long time.
382
And you gotta love the
BC.
rich wand history that's being hinted at, classified by magic, element, wood species, style? And Harry says a little crossguard.
You should be destined for this wand when its brother gave you that scar.
Further setting up the connection between Harry and Voldemort. It's almost like Rowling had this whole story planned out.
I wonder if she did, because I know, cause it is kind of surprising seeing these older movies and realizing, oh, that was set up all the way back in the first one. That's crazy.
Who must not be named did great things.
Terrible, but great.
Setting up the good versus evil and the gray area that exists in this magic world.
Happy birthday!
Gift giving.
We'll take the lot.
Buying candy for your new friend.
He buys all the candy, and it's like, wait a minute, what about the other kids in the train that wanted candy? It's a bit selfish.
Sparing us tykes the image of someone biting the head off a seemingly alive chocolate frog.
Oh, are you doing magic? Let's see then.
Maybe it's because we know she relaxes a bit in the future, but even though Hermione wastes no time establishing her pompous attitude, you can't help but love her.
Repair room.
And she wastes no time proving her magic acumen.
Wait a minute, how is she using magic outside of school? Like, hello? Like, isn't there a whole thing that wizards can't use magic when they're underage and when they're not at Hogwarts? I just realized that.
You've got dirt on your nose, by the way.
I used to think this was just another line item to add to the list of Hermione Granger is a bratty brat, but it's actually really considerate. Call it a compassion win. Is that
Yeah,
what
Sarah, first that hint of their romance, I guess.
Gibbons?
I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Wicked incendio.
Ooh.
Notice the Sorting Hat doesn't even touch Malfoy's head. He just emanates evil. And we're introduced to our red herring for the next 7 movies. Notice Squirrel's back is to Harry when his scar starts to hurt.
Yep.
And Snape's almost realization that something is awry.
There's a lot to talk about with Snape. Whether you love him or hate him, like whether you find a redemption at the end, like you like his redemption or you think it's unnecessary. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, so let's not talk about it right now.
Not Slytherin, eh?
Harry's such a pure kid. Ron just said,
It's not a witch or wizard who went bad who wasn't in Slytherin.
so Harry's only request or wish is to not be in that house.
Right.
Begin.
Even Malfoy enjoys a good replicator trick.
Who wouldn't? Oh, yeah.
It's just gross. But what do you expect from John Cleese? J.K.
Yeah, actually earned that PG rating.
Rowling predicted digital picture frames.
She did.
A moment of pure happiness. You can hear the thoughts in his head. It's all been leading to something. The pain, suffering, sadness, neglect. And he doesn't even know the extent of it yet. Here's that inside track I was talking about, making us feel like we're a part of Hogwarts.
That was bloody brilliant.
Compliments.
I can teach you how to bewitch the mind and ensnare the senses.
Hans Gruber, Dr. Lazarus, Metatron, Alan Rickman is always a win. May he rest in peace.
Yep.
Tell me, what would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood?
The screw tape letters.
Where, Mr. Potter, would you look if I asked you to find me a bezoar?
The stomach.
And what
He's
is
not
the
adding a
difference
win,
between
that's cool.
Wolfbane?
One's for werewolves, the other for vampires? Yeah, man, that's what I saw.
Actually, hold on. I remember watching this a while ago. There was one comment I want to find. Hold on. That talked about this. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, the first thing Snape asks Harry is, Potter, what would I get if I added powdered root of asphodel to an infusion of wormwood? According to Victorian flower language, asphodel is a type of lily, meaning my regrets follow you to the gravel, and wormwood means absence, and also typically symbolize bitter sorrow. If you combine that, it meant I bitterly regret Lily's death. I don't know how much... I don't know how much about the HP universe, but if this is true, can you count this as another win? And then he responded, that's so crazy cool. Did it come up with that? Or it didn't come up in my research, so I missed it. Like, yeah, that's a really cool detail. Anyway, let's move on.
I'd recognize that dumbfounded look anywhere. J.K. Rowling predicted iPads. First evidence
She
on how
predicted gifts.
gifted a wizard Harry is.
Give
Yeah.
it a Malfoy.
Sticking up for basically a stranger. Harry Potter's the best. He knows a thing or two about being bullied.
Could I borrow wood for a moment, please? I have found you a seeker.
Well, if the accents weren't a giveaway, we now know 100% without question that this takes place in the UK since one of the school's house heads pulled a student out of class to discuss Quidditch, this magical world's football equivalent. Soccer to us silly Americans. Although no wonder she's invested in Quidditch. McGonagall must have a famous younger relative of some kind. I know they're supposed to be terrifying, but does anyone else think they're especially cute and would like to have them as pets?
It was standing on
We know Hagrid does.
a trap door, which means it wasn't there by accident. It's guarding something.
Such great character development and character continuity building. Hermione is the only one that notices the trapdoor. Everything in this film has a sense of a long history, and Quidditch is no exception. Right down to the ornate box with little doors for the equipment. Possibly just a result of the director yelling, "All right, just look around wildly and we'll add the ball in post." Or, what I choose to believe, just solid evidence for,
Damn impossible to see.
especially given that wood isn't a seeker.
Thought you ought to know.
Warning your friends. Hermione gets a pass for pulling the old lawyer hiding from the T-Rex solution since she's 12, and she actually fared quite a bit better than he.
That's true.
Saving your friends with magic.
That troll looks really eh. You can tell it's early CGI, but it's fine for what it was back in 2001.
Professor McGonagall, I went looking for the troll.
I can't say why the truth wasn't an option, but her intentions were to keep Harry and Ron from getting in any trouble. So, taking the blame for your friends.
Sure.
5 points will be awarded to each of you.
So this is where that theory, this is all just poor Harry's schizoid delusion while trapped under the stairs at his uncle's house, starts to really make sense.
Oh, please don't start that. I don't like that theory. Please don't suggest that. This is all actually a dream that Harry is having. That's just sad. I'm sorry. That is really sad. Like, just no, please.
Nothing like rewarding students for disobeying instructions and willfully putting their lives in danger. But, let's call it a progressive attitude win.
For sheer dumb luck.
Or that, dumb luck win. That's better.
Yeah.
Rowling invented a new sport, and it's pretty cool.
Which makes no sense, though. Because, like, why? Because, no, I'm remembering. So, you get this amount of points for throwing the ball through the hoop, but then it's like the seeker has to find the what's it called? The snitch. And that awards like 1,500 points. I can't remember exactly how many, but it's a lot. Over 1,000 points. I remember that. So it's like, it basically cancels out the rest of the game because it doesn't matter how many points you get throwing the ball through the hoop. Whoever catches the snitch is the winner. So the rest of the game is pointless. I don't think Rowling thought that through.
And it's co-ed. Yay, feminism.
That's true.
Whoa, easy there. That's a girl. I mean, yay, feminism.
Yeah, some of the CG is a little wonky, but again, for 2001, I think it's fine.
It goes without saying in a team sport, but teamwork. The flying is a bit wonky at times, but
I even said the word wonky.
I had to say what magical flying looks like. Looks like fun to me. I love how they use the misdirection of Snape. We learn that it's not that he's working against Harry, he's just always in a bad mood because he's freaking Alan Rickman and he can do what he wants. One of the many payoffs for the underdog. You can't help but feel the pure joy in Harry's heart to be accepted and even celebrated by his peers and superiors.
Yep.
Real-life chest shadowing. One of the more fun things in the Harry Potter films are the subtle and not-so-subtle seasonal markers. Always done in a way that you barely notice you're being given visual exposition.
Looks like
Nice.
you got one too. I've got presents.
Aww.
Another break your heart, warm your heart moment from Harry, because he's likely never gotten a Christmas present in his life.
Yeah.
Apparently Filch doesn't know about invisibility cloaks.
Mrs.
But
Norris.
you can't hide from cats. They see your soul. First clue is desire. Then you look at the words and you see this. Then you flip it around and you fix the spacing, and your mind gets blown.
I show not your face, but your heart's desire. Whoa, that's really cool.
This is most likely just a technique to differentiate between reality and what's in the mirror, but it's also an example of Harry's oppression. As Dumbledore puts it,
it shows us the deepest, desperate desires of our heart.
Even Harry's deepest desires take a second to come into focus because he's had to suppress them for so long. Also, utterly heartbreaking.
Yeah.
The magic world is such an interesting concept. It parallels reality in a lot of ways. Every super special thing generally has a catch, like the Mirror of Erised, for example. You'll see things that bring you joy, but ultimately,
men have wasted away in front of it.
They generally also offer up some lessons about life.
It does not do to dwell on dreams, Harry.
Nicholas Flamel is the only known maker of the Philosopher's Stone.
The what?
I know, right? I swear he was a sorcerer.
Yeah, the fact that they like shot that scene with the actors saying philosophers and sorcerers is pretty cool. Like they put that attention to detail in there.
The detention would find you hanging by your thumbs in the dungeons. God, I'll miss the screaming.
Reminiscing.
And there are werewolves.
Nah, Remus wasn't around yet. Unless you're thinking of Sirius? I wish I could say people's names I dislike with the disdain Malfoy manages to say.
Yeah, Potter. That's so fun to say.
Man, you've got to be a loyal servant to drink mercury-looking animal blood. That's creepy. And very snake-like. Continuity win. Anyone else have flashes of Kevin Sorbo just now? Just me?
Who's the one wizard Voldemort always feared? As long as Dumbledore's around, you can't be touched.
Wow. Even that's set up in this first movie. Just...
Yeah. Hedwig's theme.
How does Hagrid know Hedwig's theme?
Yeah.
Received an urgent out.
Ha! Urgent owl. Only Maggie Smith could say that with a straight face. Poor Neville. 5 points for Neville Longbottom. I mean, wins. I mean, 1 win. I mean, it's actually Hermione's win for Iceman magic.
Ow.
A little scary sometimes.
Honesty. If that's not the alien nest that swallows up Ripley, yep, it is.
Alien Nest? I don't remember. Was that an Alien Resurrection? Because I barely remember that one.
It's too simple.
Intuition. This whole story does have a very predestination, destiny, fate feeling to it. Without his time as a seeker, Harry may not have been able to catch the key. And in real life, Wizards chess match montage is the fastest way to get sympathy from your future girlfriend.
Yep.
Self-sacrifice.
That did not look that high. Like, he just kind of fell down. It didn't look that high up. Like, why was he knocked unconscious? Like, I don't get it.
Stuttering Professor Quirrell.
What a twist. Especially for the intended audience, which is mid-30s women, right?
What is it? What do you see?
I've won the house cup.
I know it's not exactly Ron's vision, but I love that Harry pulls from it as if he really doesn't know what a kid his age would desire, since he just wants to not be an orphan slave. And then a twist inside a twist. Such good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Ghost headbutt.
Only a person wanted to find the stone but not use it would be able to get it.
Smart spell. I can think of a number of things that would apply to.
But wait a minute. I remember people pointing this out. That kind of makes all the tasks before the mirror, you know, the chess match, the plants, the dog, it makes all of those feel pointless because it's like, wait, you could have not had any of that and just had that. Say that, oh, the mirror hides the stone and you can only get it if you don't intend to use it. Because Voldemort and Quirrell had every desire to use it, so they would never have gotten it no matter what. So all those other trials were pointless. Like, why were those there? Like, it's yeah. Yeah.
All right there, Ron. All right. You? All right.
They're just babies. I don't know why that's a win, other than to say some great performances from some really young actors.
Yeah, there's some. It's like, I would say in these first few movies, the kids are fine. They're not amazing. And there's some good performances like here and there. And they definitely do get better as the series goes on.
For a children's movie, the gray area between good and bad, right and wrong is pretty big. I think they probably give our main trio a little too much leeway and continually reward them for breaking rules because of the end result. But they also award Neville for doing the right thing, even though had he been successful, he would have prevented said result.
Yeah. Oh, man, I have seen so many freaking memes on Facebook about Dumbledore being biased and awarding Gryffindor tons of points. Like, 50 points to Gryffindor for Harry for breathing, basically. Like that. Like, it's kind of funny how they portray Dumbledore as just being super biased with Gryffindor and just awarding him so many points for doing anything.
Gotta love this relationship. Harry credits Hagrid for saving him from the Dursleys and introducing him to his true heritage. And their friendship is set up right in the beginning with the secret they share about Dudley's tale. Also hugging. What?
I love Hagrid, man.
A way to kick off a magical series. Now, I like Harry Potter. I've always enjoyed this film. But it wasn't...
I just realized, while watching this, I actually haven't explained my thoughts on this movie in particular, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. I'm sorry. I call it Sorcerer's Stone. What do I like this movie. It is a really good beginning. It's actually not one of my favorites. It's because it is definitely a little more kid friendly, and I'm not saying that as a slight against it, as a criticism. I get why, because Harry is only 11 years old. It is meant for the whole point is that the series ages, like it ages up with its audience. So I understand why it's more kid friendly. And it is a very charming movie it does feel the most magical, but I just prefer most of the later movies a lot better. So I can't wait to get to more of those.
It wasn't until I watched it with my wife, who has a tiny blonde girl living inside her who varies in age from 5 to 12, that I fully appreciated the excitement that people went through for this movie. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone is something really, really, really special.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Not only does it set up an incredibly detailed, unique magical world and series, including an overarching villain, one of the best red herring villains ever put to screen, and a three-way relationship that only gets better and better, but it's also a fantastic standalone film that doesn't even need a follow-up. There's more than enough excitement, magic, and adventure in this film to support itself. The way Rowling managed to weave a detailed story that spans multiple books, films through a fairly linear narrative is thoroughly impressive.
Yeah, it actually
While
is.
I was never the die-hardiest of die-hard Potter fans, after viewing it with a critical eye, my mind is blown at the number of story threads that are set up and that she managed to keep us enthralled for so many stories after this one. You could complain that the Ex Machina devices and MacGuffins come and go and are never used more than once.
No, actually, yeah, a lot of people pointed that out. Like the truth serum later on that they use on Briar Crouch Jr. That is the truth serum that is only used that one time and never again. It was kind of weird. Like, why don't they use that more often?
But that's the strength of this world she's built. She managed to find new and interesting ways to solve problems.
I mean, sure.
And a lot of the character development of our main characters is done through problem and riddle solving. Obviously, Harry gets the most to do, decodes the most puzzles, and at the very least has the best knack for flying, but each of them has their own unique skills. There is something about the way these kids act. It's cheesy, on the nose, goofy even sometimes.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
Emma Watson is the hammiest of hams, but it's also so heartwarming. You can tell that they really love what they're doing so much. The characters are one of the best things this universe has to offer. Some of the most detestable and lovable. Hagrid has to be my favorite.
Shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I should have said that.
I shouldn't have told you that.
He's just a giant teddy bear, and Dumbledore's endorsement should mean a lot.
I would trust Hagrid with my life.
The second most important star of this film is Hogwarts itself,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
magical world we're introduced to. The level of detail in this movie is amazing. I already talked about Quidditch, but also there's so often something happening in the background. So much care went into making this world right. I know not every book fan was pleased, but a lot were overjoyed seeing the images they'd painted in their minds come to life.
I was.
There are themes aplenty in this film that I already touched on, the blurry line between good and evil, family and friendship, free will and predestination. We're shown so many similarities between Harry and Voldemort, and even the Sorting Hat isn't sure what to do with Harry.
When you can join me and live.
This call from Voldemort may seem like a typical villain trope or even a trick because of the prophecy, but Harry's powerful and Voldemort recognizes that. Fortunately, Harry chooses, to the best of his ability, good. The biggest theme in this film has to be it's what separates Harry from Voldemort, and it's what saved his life twice now.
Very cheesy, but fine. Yeah.
What a great role model. Modest, puts others first, stands up for injustice, a real underdog story we can all relate to.
A wizard.
Or he's a crazy orphan boy trapped under the stairs having delusions of grandeur.
Please, 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 no, no, no.
Whatever. I'm pretty sure you're all figments of my imagination. This much positivity doesn't exist in the real world. But hey.
Actually, I do feel that sometimes with the amount of positive comments I get, weirdly enough.
Hasn't stopped me yet. Let's see what Ron thinks about that.
The Many Faces of Ron Weasley Lightning Round. Oh, yeah. Even in that poster he's showing, Rupert's face is like, oh man. Sorry, 145. Magic. Ouch.
Shut up, Harry.
But yep, that is my reaction to Lee's video on Harry Potter and Sorcerer's Stone or Philosopher's Stone. I'm really, yeah, sorry. Yep, nice video. Oh, I think this is a good movie, and even I do prefer some of the later ones a little bit more. But yep, not much else I can say, except 1 down, 7 to go. So that'll be fun. That'll be all for now. Peace.